Welcome, beautiful soul. If this is your first time, be sure to watch parts 1 through 4 of Layla and Damon's love story. This is part 5. The elevator doors slid open, and Layla saw the bomb under the conference table, taped neat, a red light blinking. 10 senators, 3 cameras, and Damon walking toward her with a calm smile. She didn't scream. She didn't run. She whispered, "Don't take another step." The city smelled like rain and metal. Cars hissed on wet streets. Neon lights stained the puddles red and blue. Layla walked fast, heels sharp on the marble floor of the federal tower. Her badge cleared her past security. Her heart was steady, her face calm, but her mind raced. A week ago, the human government formed a special task council to discuss non-human cooperation. Nice words, careful words. Under those words, Layla heard what they really meant: control. The council had sent polite letters to the pack, invitations to talk, promises of peace, then leaked stories to the press, rumors, fear. So Layla decided to meet them first. No TV, no press, no fanfare, just law and truth. Damon hated it. Of course he did. But he let her come, with him at her side. He wore a dark suit today instead of armor. No crown, no cloak, only golden eyes that said, "Try me." "Last chance to turn back," he murmured as the elevator rose. Layla squeezed his hand. "I won't hide from them. I know how their world works. It's mine too." The elevator chimed, the doors slid open. That was when she saw it. Time narrowed. The conference table was long, glass, spotless. A glossy city flag hung on the far wall. Under the table, small, ugly, taped tight to a steel beam, blinked a tiny red light. A wire ran to a black box. Layla's throat went dry. Damon took one step and she caught his wrist. "Don't move." He stilled. His eyes tracked her gaze. Gold turned to fire. Layla lifted her head. 3 staffers stood near the window with clipboards. A 4th poured water into a crystal pitcher. The assistant by the door had a gaze too flat to be normal. Security, or something else? She smiled like nothing was wrong. "I'd love to see the view before we start." Damon's voice was calm. "I'll come with you." They crossed the room to the far corner where the floor-to-ceiling glass showed the river and the bridges. Layla kept smiling. Her lips barely moved. "Bomb, under the table." Damon's jaw flexed. "How many?" "1, I think," she breathed. "Staff, 3 legit, 1 wrong." He nodded once. "Signal?" "Fire alarm," she said. "You cause it. I'll get the device. You will not touch the bomb. Someone has to." "No," he said, eyes hard. "Not you." Her heart ached at the fear in his voice. "Then we do it together." They returned to the table. The assistant by the door watched. No blink. No breath out of rhythm. A professional. Layla set her bag down. "Can we check the AV feed?" she asked the nearest staffer. "We'll show exhibits in the meeting." "Sure," the woman said, bright and clipped. She bent to a control panel near the wall. Damon poured water. The pitcher clinked against crystal. He raised it, then let it slip, just enough to flood the table. "Sorry," he said, voice flat. The staffers jumped. The assistant turned his head. The water splashed over the edge, down, down, hissing against the taped device. Not enough to short it. Enough to make a mess and a reason to move. "Let's switch rooms," Layla said smoothly, already lifting her bag. "We'll reconvene in 5. The 3 staffers hustled. The assistant did not. Damon pressed the wall panel. The building alarm wailed to life. "Fire, please evacuate." Sprinklers snapped open in the hall. The assistant reached for his belt. Damon moved. 2 steps, a twist. The man's wrist snapped against the doorframe. A small black remote clattered to the floor. Damon's heel crushed it. The man lunged. Damon sent him through the glass door into the lobby in one brutal push. Layla slid to the table, ripped the tape, and pulled the device free, a simple phone trigger next to a dead man. The remote was crushed, but if the dead man cut off, She swallowed and held down the tiny silver lever, keeping the circuit alive. I need a toolbox. Wire cutters. Now. Damon had the man pinned. Who sent you? The man spat blood. You did. It took 9 minutes. 9 long minutes where Layla knelt on the wet floor, dress soaked, fingers steady while Damon guarded the door. A maintenance worker brought a kit with shaking hands. She cut the trigger line, bridged the circuit, disarmed the secondary. The little red light died. Her chest finally rose. Damon was suddenly there. Hand on her back, voice low. Breathe. She let herself shake once. Sirens wailed outside. The fake assistant was gone, vanished into the stairwell when the building flood of people came. Damon could have chased. He didn't. He stayed with her. When the police arrived, they tried to separate Damon and Layla. Damon smiled without his eyes. No. Layla showed her lawyer badge and took control. She answered only what she chose. She told the truth and hid the parts that would start a different kind of war. Who planted the bomb? The cops didn't know. The building did not know. The council would pretend nothing happened. But someone wanted the meeting to end in fire, with wolves blamed on every channel. They reached the estate after dark. Rain drummed on the stone. The pack lined the hall. Some growled, some looked scared. News trucks glowed in the distance outside the gates. Layla stripped off her soaked jacket. Damon took her hands and warmed them with his breath. Say the word and we disappear, he said. We go off the grid, no cameras, no councils, just you and me. I love you, she said. But running is not how you win human games. He hated that. He loved that she knew it. They held a short press address at the gate. Simple words. Calm tone. No details for fear to eat. Layla spoke. We came to the table in good faith. We will always choose peace first. We also protect our people, wolves and humans both. A reporter shouted, Are wolves a danger in the city? Layla didn't blink. Fear is a danger in the city. We are not your rumor. Damon stepped forward, suit dark, eyes bright. We bleed when you bleed. We help when you hurt. We are here. They went inside to the thunder of cameras. They ate late, bread, stew, wine. Layla spread documents across the tablecloth, photos of the room, schematics, names of past donors to certain senators, a charity that was not a charity, a shell company with a sweet name and a sour trail. Damon watched her think. Tell me where to bite, he said. She smiled, tired and soft. We don't bite yet. We listen. We move 2 steps ahead. She circled a name, Elias March, old money, new hunger, quiet man with loud hands in many places, security contracts, defense think tank, a super PAC with nice words like order and safety. March hates losing control, Layla said. He sells fear. Fear buys votes. Votes buy contracts. Wolves are the perfect fear toy. Damon leaned back. So we pull the toy out of his hand. We pull the mask off his face, Layla said, and kissed Damon across the table. They barely made it to the bedroom before the rest of the world fell away. It had been too close, too loud, too much. Damon's mouth was warm and fierce. Layla laughed against his lips and then didn't laugh at all. He was careful where her knees bruised on the marble. He was careful where her fingers still shook. He held her like prayer and promise. After rain tapped the window, their breaths slowed. Layla lay on his chest and traced old scars. I want to build a life so normal it makes no sense, she whispered. Coffee that gets cold, socks that don't match, a home that smells like bread. We will, he said. I'll even burn the bread to make it real. You will, she agreed, smiling into his skin. 2 days later, Layla sat across from Senator Voss in a quiet cafe where no one knew he liked cinnamon rolls. He was famous on screens, steady voice, perfect tie. In person, his smile broke if you looked close. Thank you for meeting me, she said. You're brave, he replied. Braver than your husband. He's my mate, she corrected, and he is brave enough for 2 cities. Voss leaned in. We both want peace. But peace is hard to sell when the donors buy fear. You know who they are. Elias March, Layla said. Voss flinched before his training smoothed it over. You say that in public, and you'll start a war. Then help me end it before it starts, Layla said. Give me something. A thread. He stared into his coffee. There's a bill, he said at last. On the docket next week. Hidden inside is language that lets private security act as federal agents in non-human incidents. It gives March teeth. Show me the text, Layla said. He slid a napkin across the table. On it, a handwritten code, HR 7314, Amendment 22B. Layla, Voss said quietly, they will come for you when you pull this string. They already have, she said, and left a tip big enough to buy 10 cinnamon rolls. That night, Layla wrote. She wrote like a lawyer and like a queen. She wrote clear and simple, with no room for fear to twist a word. She turned the amendment into a story the public could see, a private army in a friendly suit. Damon stood at the window with the city in his eyes. If you hit them now, they will hit back before dawn. I know, she said, and pressed send. Her op-ed went live at midnight on 3 platforms. Inside an hour, it was everywhere. Private power grab hiding in new security bill trended with fire emojis and wolf emojis that made Layla snort despite herself. At 2 a.m., someone cut the fiber line to the estate's west wing. At 2:05, 3 drones buzzed over the garden. At 2:07, Damon tore them from the air. Morning brought a knock, not at the gate, at Layla's office door. She opened it to find a woman in a gray coat, hair slick with rain, eyes bright with nerves. My name is Mara March, she said softly. Elias March is my father. Damon appeared behind Layla like a shadow that breathes. If this is a threat, it's not, Mara said fast. It's a warning. He's moving against you tonight. He wants to stage a riot downtown. He'll blame wolves. It will pass the bill by morning. Layla studied her face. There was fear there, also shame. Why are you telling me this? Layla asked. Because I believed him once, Mara whispered. Then I saw the invoices he hid under charity folders. I saw a bomb receipt. I saw news packages written before the riot happened. She swallowed. He is not a leader. He is a fire seller. I don't want to be his match. Damon's voice was quiet and lethal. Where? When? Pier 19, Mara said. Midnight. He'll use hired men in wolf masks. He'll bring cameras. He'll make you the monster. Layla reached across the desk and took Mara's cold hand. Then we tell the truth faster than his lie. Pier 19 slept under a low moon. Wind bullied the flags. Crates sat like waiting animals. Damon's pack melted into shadows on rooftops and under scaffolds. Human allies, 2 journalists Layla trusted and a city council member with a spine, waited with cameras that would not lie. At 11:56, vans rolled in. Men climbed out, donning cheap wolf masks and black gloves. They smashed their own van window on cue. One held a road flare, another sprayed a crude slogan on a wall, shaky letters meant for panic. At 11:59, a news crew with 2 perfect hair rolled up. At 12 o'clock, someone yelled, "Action." At 12:01, Damon stepped into the light. His suit was black. His eyes were gold. Layla stood beside him in a white coat that said, Law and Light. He spoke to the hidden mic in his lapel. Record this. He spoke to the men in masks. You forgot to hide the rental barcode, boys. Mara stepped from the shadows then, voice shaking into a megaphone. Dad! Silence hit like a slap. Elias March walked out from behind the camera truck, face white, smile frozen. Dad, stop, Mara said, tears cutting her face. No more lies. Damon looked straight into the main camera. This is not a riot. This is a play. The actors are paid. The blood would be real. Someone tried to run. Wolves blocked the alley, not with teeth, with cameras. Layla held up a stack of copies. Here are invoices. Here are emails. Here is the amendment with your fingerprints. Here is a city that will not be your toy. A masked man lunged. Damon didn't strike him. He simply stepped aside and let the man trip over his own flare into a shallow puddle. Sputter, fizzle, lights, cameras, truth. Police sirens sang. For once, they came to the right party. It did not end that night. It never ends in one night. But the video went everywhere. The invoices sang, the op-ed held, the bill stalled, the donors hid. The riot became a meme that cost Elias March 3 boards and his sense of untouchable. He was arrested for conspiracy to incite violence and misuse of federal funds. He posted bail. He gave a speech about misunderstandings. His smile looked like glass now, easy to cut yourself on. In court, Layla did not sit at counsel table. She sat in the gallery with Damon's warm hand on her knee. She watched the law do its slow, stubborn work. She did not gloat. She only breathed. Mara testified. Her voice shook. It did not break. When it was over for the day, Damon kissed Layla on the courthouse steps. Not for the cameras. For himself. Peace is not quiet. Peace is an inbox of hate and love. Peace is a call at 3 a.m. to say a camera is outside your gate and you can say no comment again, or you can say, come in for tea? Peace is choosing to invite the right ones for tea. Layla sat with Damon on the back steps at dawn. He had made coffee and it was terrible. She drank it anyway. Have you noticed, he said, that every time we choose love first, the world gets louder? Then we choose it second, she said, leaning on his shoulder. And third. And until they get tired of shouting. He smiled into her hair. I am still learning your human games. She tilted her face up. And I am still learning how to be queen when what they really need is a neighbor who smiles at the mailman. You smile at the mailman too much, he said, mock stern. Jealous? Always. She kissed him until the coffee tasted better. The council could not hide forever. They invited Layla and Damon to testify at a public hearing, this time with a new title, Community Safety with Non-Human Allies. The room was packed, cameras hummed, protesters held signs outside that said both, monsters go home and we love our alpha king, that is how life is. Two truths across a street. Layla spoke first. We are not asking for special rights. We are asking for the same promise humans give each other in a good city. Protection under the law, with the law, for the law. A senator asked Damon, can you guarantee no wolf will ever lose control in public? Damon didn't blink. Can you guarantee no human will ever lose control in public? Silence, then a ripple of surprised laughter that let the heat out of the room. Layla put a hand on Damon's wrist under the table. Thank you, her eyes said. His eyes said, always. They left to a mix of boos and cheers and something else. Thought. Peace broke, as it always does, not with a bomb this time, but with a whisper. A friendly anchor on a friendly show asked, who watches the wolves when the queen is one of them now? The graphic behind her said, FOXINTHEHENHOUSE. It was lazy. It was effective. Layla turned off the TV and stared at the black screen. Damon slid an arm around her waist. We could break the television. We could bake bread, she said. We could bake bread, he agreed, like he was agreeing to invade a country. They mixed flour. They laughed when he dusted her nose. They burned the first loaf. They didn't care. The next morning, a box sat at their gate. No return address. Inside, a silver pen, heavy and cold, and a note, sign or bleed. Damon's eyes went dark. Humans can be more savage than wolves. Humans can be anything, Layla said. So can wolves. She put the pen in a plastic bag as evidence. She put the note in the fire. The city held a charity gala for unity. Charity galas are where rich people dress like kindness. Layla wore a simple black dress. Damon wore the suit that made board members forget their names. Elias March was not there. Mara was. She hugged Layla and whispered, "He will try something else." Layla hugged her tighter. Midway through a speech about shared values, the lights died. The stage went dark. A projector flashed a montage on the wall. Wolves fighting, claws, teeth, blood. Then Layla's face, then Damon's, then words. "They will replace you." A murmur rose. Fear is fast. Layla stepped onto the dim stage. No microphone, just her voice. "You know me," she said, calm, clear. "You have seen me in court. You have seen me in your streets. I buy coffee at the stand with the yellow umbrella. I trip on the same broken curb on 4th and Main. I am your neighbor. My husband is a wolf. He saves joggers from muggers and breaks up fights in the park with a look. We are not replacing you. We are living next to you." Someone shouted, "Why should we trust you?" Damon's voice came from the back. "Because she tells you when she is afraid. Because I tell you when I am angry. Because we will stand here and take your questions until the caterers leave with the trays." Laughter. Tension broke like thin ice in spring. The lights blinked back. The projector died. The montage was gone. The night went on. So did the world. It happened in the quiet after. A man in a waiter's jacket stepped from a service door as Layla walked to the car. His smile was wrong. The knife under the napkin was bright. Damon was there before the blade moved. He didn't break the man. He broke the knife against the wall with one hand and looked at him with eyes that meant winter. The man wet himself. Security took him by the elbow and did not ask for a tip. Layla trembled only when they were alone in the car. Damon took her shaking hands to his mouth. "I am sorry," he said. "For what?" "For the world," he said. She pressed her forehead to his. "We fix what we can. We love through what we can't." The bill without the hidden teeth came to a vote. It did not give private armies badges. It did not give fear a new name. It funded a real liaison office with real oversight for real crises. Layla drafted it. Damon stood behind it with his whole body. Voss pushed it through with a voice that didn't shake this time. It passed by 3 votes. The city did not throw a parade. It cleaned the streets after a storm and went to work. That is also how peace looks. They had one, the kind Layla had asked for. She woke before Damon and watched him sleep, jaw relaxed, scars quiet. She made coffee that did not taste like war. He burned toast. She laughed. He laughed. They looked at houses online and argued about paint colors. They took a walk where no one screamed. A kid in a Spider-Man shirt asked Damon if he could lift a car. Damon lifted the kid instead. The mom thanked them with a smile that looked like a new kind of treaty. They went home. They shut the door. They kissed like the world owed them nothing and gave them everything anyway. Night again. Rain again. Layla wrote at the desk while Damon stretched on the rug, reading a book about cities. He did not love it. He loved that she loved it. "Do you ever wonder," she asked, "if we can really keep both worlds, yours and mine?" He looked at her, eyes slow gold. "I wonder how to make a third one." "What does that mean?" She smiled. "A world that is ours," he said, and pulled her into his lap. "Where bread burns and coffee is strong, and the only riot is you in that dress." She kissed him until the rain forgot to fall. Then she stood and took his hand. "Come see something." She led him to the back door, out to the small garden. She had planted 2 olive trees that morning. Their leaves shivered like small hands. "What are they?" he asked. "Promises," she said. "Olives mean peace. They take time. They need care. They live a long, long time. Like us." He looked at the trees, then at her. "Then we will be gardeners too." They stood under the leaves and let the rain bless them. It came just before dawn. Mara again. "He's gone," she said, voice thin. "He ran," before sentencing. "Where?" Layla asked. "Somewhere he can still sell fear," Mara whispered. "Be careful." Damon hung up gently. "We will be ready," he said. Layla nodded. "And we will not stop building while we watch the door." They walked the old bridge at sunset. The city glowed like a patient star. A busker played a song that was brave even when it missed notes. Damon's arm wrapped Layla's waist. They leaned on the rail and watched boats move like thoughts. "You know," Layla said, "I thought being queen would feel like a crown. It feels like a bridge." "Strong?" Damon asked. "Between," she said, "heavy and holy and useful." He kissed her temple. "Then I will be the river. Loud sometimes, always here." She laughed into his shoulder. "Deal." A month later, a courier brought a plain envelope. No threat, no blade. Inside, a clipping from a newspaper in another country. A story about a riot stopped before it started by a brave woman with a megaphone and a man with calm eyes. The woman looked like Mara. The man looked tired and good. A sticky note fell out, in careful handwriting. "We learned from you. Thank you." Damon smiled slow. "The world watches," he said. Layla folded the note and slid it into the book on the nightstand. "Then let's give it something worth watching." They hosted a small dinner. Voss came with a pie he did not bake. Mara came with a laugh that sounded freer. 2 pack lieutenants came in shirts with buttons and tried not to growl at the salad. They ate, they argued in good ways. They told the same story 3 times and it got better each time. Damon poured wine like a ritual. Layla lit candles like a prayer. After the guests left, they did the dishes together, bumping hips like teenagers. Damon dried a plate and said, "I think we did something today." "Which part?" Layla asked. "All of it," he said. "The pie, the talk, the way the lieutenants didn't break the chairs, the way you smiled at Voss without wanting to bite him." "I never want to bite Voss," she said, then added, "much." Damon laughed. He picked her up and set her on the counter and kissed her slow and sweet and sure. "City of masks," she whispered against his mouth. "We took a few off." "We kept ours," he said. "Yours is a crown. Mine is yours." They stood in the quiet kitchen where the only sound was 2 hearts that had learned to beat in the same room. Outside, the olive trees held their silver leaves to the night. Rain did not fall, not tonight. And for once, the city slept without a headline. Love did not make them weak. It made them stubborn. It made them patient. It made them choose the table over the sword until the sword was needed, and then choose it clean. They would have more fights. They would have more bread to burn. They would have more bridges to stand on. But tonight, Damon and Layla chose what they always chose when the world got loud. They chose each other. If you loved this story, please don't forget to subscribe, hit like, and drop a comment with your favorite scene. Your support helps bring more powerful love stories to life.